Everybody, welcome to Week 8 recap. As you see right there, we finally had a team to finally show up. 146 to 117 victory over Zach Flippin. Got the W and actually, believe it or not, had the highest score of the week. After having pretty much almost the lowest score last week, right? 146.72. Maria pulls off the win against Matt Fisher, 107-104. And Pat wins again, 122-119, barely over Colby. Another couple close matches there. Another close one. Gary beating Brandon, getting his second win of the season. And my dad winning his third over Andrew. And Mason beating Chuck 126-102. Bill staying undefeated again, 8-0 against Caitlin, 120-102. And then Dylan with the win, 132-127 in a high-scoring close matchup. So it was a lot of high scores this week. There was only 3 scores under 100, and they were all 3 were in the 90s. So believe it or not, 90.56 is actually the lowest. Usually every week we've had somebody in the 60s, 50, almost 60s, 70s, 80s every week. So somehow everybody's team came to play this week, and we got minimum score was 90. So it's a pretty good scoring week. As we look at the box scores for each. The breakdown of my team, I had a 146 with a 0 here. With Miles Sanders. A 0. And I still ended up with that much because DeAndre Hopkins and A.J. Brown went off. 33 and 34 for each of them. 23.9 for George Kittle. Laporta with 19.7. That right there was one heck of a team in that area. And on the other side, I mean, there was high scores over there too. Gus Edwards with almost 30. The kicker with 10. He had a 0 as well in the tight end spot. So, man, we both had a 0 and we both scored that high. The bench, I even had Dotson on the bench with 24.8 and a 17.9 on the bench. That's crazy. Like, all those high scores in 1 week. And that was a running back spot. I mean, not really much else I could have done in that. So, but that's this game. Move on to the next one. Maria pulling it off. Jared Goff with 12.6. Derrick Henry 16.2. Royce Freeman 10.4. Trey McBride 25 points. On the other side, McCaffrey with 30 and Hawkinson with 20, but everybody else really not that much. Sam Howell on the bench, quarterback, 30.9. That was the difference right there. All you had to do was have him in, he would have won, but she pulls it off. She gets the win and moves to 2-6. And we go to the next one here. Pat winning yet again. Kirk Cousins. However, the unfortunate news for Pat is Kirk Cousins is officially tore his Achilles. He is out for the season after that 19.8 points he put up. So that's the unfortunate news there. So that's these were more consistent numbers. This had a point. He had a 0.3 and a 1, but he also had 2 20s over here. He didn't have any 20s over here. So very close battle. They were very close to their projected. There was almost exactly opposite of the projections. Kobe scored 119. He was projected that. Pat was projected that. Pat scored 122, and Kobe was basically projected that 1 point higher. And there's the bench. Had 16 defense, 13, 22.1. He had a lot of points on the bench there. Tough break for Kobe. He could have won with the bench points in the game a little bit, I think. But actually, maybe not because, well, yeah, I guess. Although he had the kicker at 12 on the bench, backup kicker, who only scored one in the game. So that also could have been a difference. But you never know. Moving on to the next one, Gary pulling off the W over Brandon. Brandon had a lot of losses to start off the season, and had just the same amount of wins to get back to 500. I think he was 0-3 and then won 3 straight to get to 3-3, and now he is 3, and then he lost 2 more again, so back to 3-5. Gary with Tua with 21 points over here. Baker Mayfield 21 as well, so very even in the quarterback. So they were projected. Gary was projected to win by 5 points and won by almost 5 points. So almost exactly. What that was. So let's see. Anything else to notice? Jalen Waddle at 25. The bench scoring. 22.9 on the bench, 16.5, 11.8. A lot of points on the bench here as well. But that's that. And moving on to my dad winning with 127 points. Dak Prescott 28. Austin Eckler 23.3. Breece Hall 21.3. And good day for my dad's team. Everybody on the bench. Geez, he didn't have anybody on the bye or nothing. Or injured. That's crazy. Everybody's got points. Oh, they do too. Everybody on Andrew's team does as well. So he left Vaughn in, who got 0.1. If he had any other running back in, like Gibson, he still would have lost, but would have looked a little better in the scoring department. So that's that. We move on to the next one. Mason winning his 3rd game of the season against one of my uncles. Had Trevor Lawrence and Joe Mixon with 20. Jamar Chase with 25. Some good scores in there to pull out that 126. Even some decent on the bench. Over here, he actually lost 3 points for Philly's defense, giving up 31 points to Washington. Even though the team won, their defense gave up too many points for that to work. And 41 for C.D. Lamb. 41 points for C.D. Lamb on Dallas. 21.4 on Jordan Addison. So, a lot of points for my uncle, but not enough to pull it off though, as Mason comes away with the win. Bill, with his 8th straight win of the season, to start off 8-0, he will go against my dad next week, so that'll be interesting to see what happens there. But Justin Herbert 24.0, 27 for Kamara, 22 for Devontae Smith. All highlights there. And then on this side, Josh Allen highlighted with 29, and he was the only one above a 20. So the only one that really helped Caitlin the most. And So that's what that looked like. Nothing else to really point out, I don't believe. So and I believe we got one more. Let's see. Dylan going to 6-2. Jalen Hurts 27 points. Jahmyr Gibbs 29.9. Tyreek Hill 25.2. Gabe Davis 23.7. And he had OBJ with 0 on the team as well. So another one that scored 132 plus, even with a 0 on the team. Just like my 146 did. And then on the other side, Joe Burrow stood out over there with a 27.6. And then mostly double digits down, besides 2 people. Deontay Foreman. I missed Deontay. Man, I wish the Titans kept him for a backup. And I do like Spears, though. Spears is pretty good. But Russell Wilson on the bench, 17.5. And then Brock Purdy, 18.3. Both quarterbacks, decent scores, but both were lower than the quarterbacks they had in anyway. So it really wouldn't have mattered. All right. Next thing, we look at the standings, and then we will be done for the Week 8 recap. I remember to go down this time to see more stats. Bill with 8-0. I'm back up to 8th with 2 straight wins. I'm able to get back up into 8th place. I was down on like 12th, 11th or 12th or something at one point. But there's a lot of us 4-4. So hopefully we can pull a W next week. Oof. And Pat is in second at 6-2. Dylan is also 6-2. Matt Fisher is at 5-3. And then all the 4-4 teams, quite a bit of them. Caitlin, Colby, the other Matt, me, Zach Flippin, and Chuck are all in 4-4. 3-5 we have my dad, Mason, Brandon, and then at 2-6 we have Gary, Maria, and Andrew. So after her win, she's got a 3% chance to make the playoffs now instead of 2. So let's go down here. Able to see more stats. So this is the record. There's no division, so this is the actual full record as well. And then we're on a 2-game win streak, and we've scored 827 total points. Who will be the first one to score 1,000? Again, Pat and Bill staying within 1 point of each other in points for. Again, would they score exactly the same almost again? Boy, them two when they face each other will be very interesting to watch and see how that pans out, because that's crazy. So Pat has the most points scored at 969, and then Bill with 968, and then Dylan with 926. Oh, then you got Caitlin and Colby at 917 and 903. So 5 teams have scored 900 points so far. Who will be the first? Well, both Pat and Bill will definitely get to 1,000. So they'll both hit 1,000 this week or this coming week. And then yeah, it's pretty close between them two. But anyway, I believe that will be it, and we'll be see you next week for Week 9 recap. Looking forward to going to the game Thursday night, the Titans and Steelers. My first NFL game. Looking forward to it. Hopefully the Titans can pull away with the victory, but we'll see what happens. But it'll be fun. Looking forward to it. We're going to the Hall of Fame Thursday morning in Canton, Ohio, and then going to Pittsburgh from there, which is 2 hours away, and then coming home Friday. So it'll be fun. So looking forward to it, and we'll see you in the Week 9 recap next week.